Today we're going to be discussing why you should be doing your own protective hairstyles and why I decided to start learning how to do my own protective hairstyles. Today we're going to talk about my horror story. So it all started in the year 2016. I decided that I was going to try and learn how to retain length. I was tired of weaving my hair consistently. I was tired of hiding behind my quick weaves. I was tired of hiding behind my weaves. And I decided, let's try braids. Well, that didn't end so well. So I went to a braiding shop, and this is not knocking braiding shops. This is just my horror story and really what gave me the motivation to start doing my own hair, to start taking care of my hair. I went to the braiding shop and they did a phenomenal job on my hair. When I tell you my hair looked very neat, it looked very clean, that is an understatement. However, they braided my hair so tight that my scalp actually was folding over on itself. So I was at work, and I remember my hair at this point, it started to grow out. I don't ever allow my hair to grow out this long before I fix my protective hairstyle. As my audience already knows, my hair grew out to about right here. And I was working, and I leaned forward. A queen's, when I leaned forward, a lock fell out of my head. Right down on the ground. And I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this, when your hair falls out. You don't want anyone else to notice that your hair just flew out. Grabbed it and, you hide it and stick it underneath your shirt. And I realized at that moment, my edges were they were falling underneath the amount of tension that was. That is when I started to apply two techniques. You have virgin hair fertilizer, and I'll leave the description on the video below. I use my virgin hair fertilizer and my wild hair growth. I use the virgin hair fertilizer every day as instructed, and I use the wild hair growth oil twice a week. And I did that for about 4 weeks, and my hair slowly started to come back. I also was using the technique of massaging your scalp to initiate blood flow. Doing that for about 4 to 6 weeks, my hair started to grow back. And that is when I started my journey trying to educate myself. How do I start to retain length? To apply two techniques. You have virgin hair fertilizer, and I'll leave the description on the video below. I use my virgin hair fertilizer and my wild hair growth. I use the virgin hair fertilizer every day as instructed, and I use the wild hair growth oil twice a week. And I did that for about 4 weeks, and my hair slowly started to come back. I also was using the technique of massaging your scalp to initiate blood flow. Doing that for about 4 to 6 weeks, my hair started to grow back. And that is when I started my journey trying to educate myself. How do I start to retain length? And that is when my journey started. This is why it is so imperative that you really just take the time to educate yourself, to know what your hair likes and what your hair does not like. If you see, when I do my hair, I will actually leave the little hairs around my hairline free, because this is actually the most sensitive part of your hair. You want to make sure that you have the least amount of tension in your hair as possible. So keep in mind, if you want to make sure that you want to keep your edges, do your protective hairstyles yourself. Take the time to educate yourself as I did. Learn what your hair likes and what it does not like. And if you really find it difficult to do your protective hairstyles yourself, make sure when you go to your braiding shops that you let them know to stay away from the little hairs on your hairline. We call these baby hairs. And make sure that they're not grabbing your hair tightly. I know we call the saying, when you can't stand the pressure of the amount of tension on the braid, we call it tender-headed. No, sis. It's not. Your scalp is telling you when your hair is braided too tight for a reason. When we ignore that, that's when we start to suffer hair loss. Make sure that you are listening to your scalp. Make sure you're listening to your hair. Be kind to your hair. Something else I used to do, when I would take my hair out, we get very frustrated and we just yank that braid out. Do not do that. Take the time to slowly take your hair out. Take the time to make sure you're not grasping all the hair around your hairline. Leave this hair out, because I'm going to tell you, your edges will thank you later for it. Stay tuned next time, and my video will be discussing how do you take care of your relaxed hair and how do you retain length. What are the do's and what are the don'ts? Stay tuned, queens, for my next video. Mwah! Love ya.